My name is Josh Hadley, and I'm going to be taking you into a world that most people never get to see. Comic books are now more popular than ever, but what does it take to actually write and create a comic book? I spoke to Stephen Bissette, veteran comic book writer, veteran comic book artist, co-creator of John Constantine, famous for Tyrant, Spider Baby comics, and he says there really is no such thing as a typical writing project for a comic book.
There is no typical anymore, all right? When I entered the field in the mid-1970s, the term graphic novel didn't even exist yet. Number one, if you are working Marvel, DC, Archie, you know, the comic publishers still standing who publish what my students disparagingly call floppies and what my generation called comic books, you're usually working to a pretty tight schedule.
Yet what we see is most people just imagine that a comic book begins to exist. They read the page and they don't think of all the effort that goes into it and why the writer heads this game off.
The writer is at the beginning of the supply chain. That means that no artist can draw anything, no penciler can pencil, no letterer can letter, no inker can ink, no colorist can color until your script is done, turned in, either accepted by the editor or revisions are called for by the editor and you've made them and they've been accepted. If you're a writer working in that aspect of the industry, it can be a real pressure cooker situation.
Scripts come in from freelancers. You can work for a company. You never quite know if what you're making is mundane or perfect.
Freelancer that an editor or certain editors come to, then it's a more typical freelancer existence where it's feast or famine. You either have too much work or you have not enough work. You're juggling all sorts of balls hoping to land work.
But you also have to ask yourself, with comic books being as popular as they are, why would someone want to write for comic books?
Nobody knows when it's happening that you're turning in, oh my God, a fantastic script. I mean, I worked as part of the team on Swamp Thing when Alan Moore was signed on the book, and there was nothing that changed about our workday or how we worked with our publisher based on the difference in quality between, say, Marty Pasco's script, the prior writer on the book, and then Alan Moore's scripts. We were all still, you know, having to get that book done every 29 to 31 days, depending on the length of the month. The clock was ticking.
Then there's the different style of comics. People don't realize it. They go to pick up Spider-Man, they go to pick up Batman. They don't realize the differences in making these things.
It's fun playing with these characters. It's fun, you know, suddenly being able to try to make your mark in a continuity of a character or a comic book title that you feel some personal affinity with or to as a reader, and you want to creatively add to that. That can be fun. For some people, it's not fun. You know, there are plenty of professional writers who worked in comics where it's a job, and they didn't care whether they were writing Dr. Fate or Morbius the Living Vampire or, you know, Richie Rich. It was a job.
Most people on the shelf also can't imagine just what it takes to actually create the comic and get what you see, what you read, whether it's great or bland, out there, and how much editorial and how much creativity actually goes into this.
With Alan Moore and one of the issues of Swamp Thing, where Karen Berger was our editor, and she said, this is an excellent script, but it's too slow-paced for where we are with our building of readership right now, and I want something punchier. And Alan delivered the book in 2 days, the script to the book that lost us the comics code. Good call on Karen Berger's part, great call on Alan Moore's part.
So I hope this gave you something of an insight into how a comic book is created and why writing is so important to the comic book field for all of those creations you love to see on the big screen and that you love to immerse yourself into the reading of.